Howdy, folks. High Value DMD. Don't just give me your subscription, but please let me earn it. Let me earn your like and let me earn your comment. Men live life on hard mode. Let's get into it. So, to be a good man, to be a good husband, you're expected to go out there and bust your butt. You're expected to go out there and get a good job, right? Get a good job and provide for your family. And ideally, the best situation would be to be able to have your wife stay at home, okay? In other videos, I've talked about how that's honestly quite not always realistic for most people. Things are expensive, and that's just, but that's the ideal goal, right? That is kind of the dream of a lot of family units, and that's what you used to see more often in the olden days. For instance, my grandfather, he was able to just be a carpenter and provide for his family, and my grandmother never worked a day in her life, believe it or not. They got married at like 16 and 20, something like that. But it's hard. It is hard to find work to literally take care of your whole family, okay? So, and oftentimes men are blamed for everything, right? Men are the whipping post of everything. If something goes wrong, you as a man are the leader of your family, you're the leader in your employment. Oftentimes, you're leaders in your community, you're leaders in your church. So if something is going on with your kid, it's your fault, okay? If something is going wrong in your community, if there's too high of a crime rate, okay, men, it's your fault. All right, if there's a moral failure in your church, okay, or if the body, the believers in your church, they're not super on fire for God, or if they're not being spiritually fed, it's your fault, okay? You're doing something wrong, okay? Men are actually incarcerated much more often than women. That's an obvious fact. Men are oftentimes, I can't say the word, I have to be careful what I say on YouTube, but they stop existing more often than not than women. They self-stop existing more often than women. Men work more difficult jobs and more dangerous jobs than women. More men die in warfare than women do. I mean, and more men, I have to be careful about how I say this one too. More men are victims of taking advantage of another person. I'll say it like that. And that goes hand in hand with incarceration. It's difficult being a man. If you are homeless, if you're a homeless person and you're on the street and you see you're a male, okay, and then there's a female homeless person over here, who do you think someone is going to have more sympathy for? Is it going to be the woman or is it going to be the man? Naturally, we see a man and we expect a man to be able to provide for themselves. And honestly, in this situation, the feminist could say, hey, that's just sexism, that's disgusting. Women are just as powerful as men and just as capable. And in my experience in employment, in graduate school, I'm a dentist by trade, and there was plenty of females in my class. In my experience, women are fully capable of finding employment and being able to make an income, okay? And so, um, but and ironically enough, women on the street are still viewed as maybe more vulnerable. I guess that's probably the better word, right? Because a woman just walking around the street by themselves is subject to things perhaps a man isn't as much. But the whole idea of someone taking advantage of another person type of thing still happens to men more often, but it's in incarceration. But men, you have to deal with the fact that if for some reason you were to go homeless today, it would be harder for you to get off of the street or get help than it would be for a woman. As a man, and at least this is anecdotal, I don't have any studies to back this up, I feel as if women are going to be more oftentimes believed than a man would. And this often involves, I'll use this word, of grape, situations of grape or accusations. We're getting into discussions such as Title IX and things like that. Hey, we have movements that talk about believe all women, believe all women, believe her, believe her. Where's the campaign that's talking about how you should believe men or consider both parties equally? No, you do not hear that. In sexual harassment training, you hear believe the victim, believe the victim. And usually it's a woman that claims to be a victim or actually is a victim. Okay? So you got to leave room for those possibilities there. It's hard it's hard to live as a man. And also, let's consider this fact. Universities are majority female now. Okay? And women, for the longest time, at some point in points in our history, they did not attend college or they did not have the same employment positions as men. So oftentimes women are actually favored for university and they're favored for dental school or medical school. So if you're a man and if you see the statistics right now and you look at college, well, majority female are going into college, majority female are going to be dentists and physicians. So is there going to be room for me? If you're a high school aged young man right now, and let's just say you are 4 or 5 something years away from applying to graduate school, and you see the trends and the statistics of how they are now, you think, well, I mean, is there going to be room for me when I get an opportunity to get there? Are we going to go even more female? Are we going to go 70% female? In some dental schools I know of, they're upper 60% female. So a man's like, what's in it? Like, is there going to be room for me? Is there going to be a shot for me? You know? And so if there's any women out there watching this video, I just ask you to try to be sympathetic towards men, to try to respect men, okay? And obviously respect is earned, okay? Respect isn't just given. But try to at least appreciate the position that a man is in, where he has to earn everything he has. He has to organize his life in all of these ways and through many, many obstacles. Okay. And there's so many more I could talk about, such as dating, or if you're a man and there's a young child that is lost in a grocery store or an amusement park. Me as a man, I do not feel comfortable if I was by myself and my fiance, future wife, was not with me. If I'm just by myself running an errand, I do not feel comfortable trying to help that child or take him or her by the hand and find that child's parent because of the stigma around men. And in some ways that is earned because there's pedophiles out there and pedophiles are usually male, unfortunately. That's just another thing that makes it hard on men. And it's very multifaceted. But anyway, I hope I earned your subscription. I hope I earned your like, and I hope I earned your comment. Let me know what you think below. What do you think about this concept of how men have it hard in their daily life, have it hard to live, so to speak? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have you encountered any situations that has maybe presented to you differently because of your gender as a man? Let me know what you think below. Until next time.